welcome to episode 174 of Retro Encounter, RPG Fans Off-Topic Weekly Podcast. I'm Mike Sollosi, and today I've got a whale of a tale to tell you, lads, because we are kicking off Tales of Month on Retro Encounter. That's 4 episodes all about Namco's action-heavy, anime-as-hell RPG series. And I have 3 Tales fans to have a more generalized Tales of episode before we go into a specific game later this month. Beginning with Robert Fenner.
I got my body blastia, I got my swordian, I got my disc, I've got my giant bazongas, and I'm ready to talk
like
Tales.
all of them!
My body
What do
blastia
we do
is
now?
ready.
Oh, snap. Oh, I've been one up. Very good.
Joining Rob and I is Steph Sybydlo.
I am your Wonder Chef, Steph. That's the best I got on such a whim, and because Robert took like all 10 great introductions.
So you tell me
Yeah,
that I can make a
agreed.
sandwich with only bread. Interesting.
You can fail it too.
And I can fail at making bread sandwiches. Great. Thanks for judging me, video game. I already can barely cook.
You can't even assemble a sandwich. Ugh.
It's like, but I put the bread on backwards, which ironically wouldn't really
You use
break
the
the
end
sandwich.
crust.
Depends what part of the bread you're using. If you're using the crust or the nut or the
Instead of
end.
putting the flat parts of the bread together, I tried to put the narrow parts of the bread together.
No, it would just upsetting me.
And joining Stephanie, Robert, and I is Alana Hagues.
I can't top anybody else on here, so
The
I'll
God
just say
General
Demon
Alana
Fang,
Hagues.
Then there we go.
Yes. That's totally you.
God General.
Alana, all 6 of the God Generals, somehow corresponding to the 6 main characters, 1-to-1. It's like they'll all be boss battles later.
God General is a really epic title. Like, wow.
God, General, leave me alone.
No one pulled back.
God, General, you're ruining my life. Okay, now that's a reference I'm gonna probably cut out of the podcast. But okay, one thing we're not gonna cut out of the podcast is our shared love for the Tales RPGs. They began life on the Super Famicom with Tales of Fantasia, a game that never reached North American or European
It even
shores
had
until
its
its GBA port that everyone hates.
A masterpiece.
Yeah,
It even had its
Kangaroos.
own anime opening back in '95.
it
Like,
did.
that's-
It had an opening song with lyrics. In '95, it was a.
And it sounded a bit like this.
It
Like,
was a little
Sounds
muffled.
pretty bad quality.
Yeah, a little muffled. All of them sounded kind of like the Big Bird announcer in Super Street Fighter 2.
It took. I remember it took several years to emulate that properly because of just how gigantic that
Yeah,
cartridge
it's true.
was.
That was my first
It was-
experience to the series. It was an emulated version of the Super Famicom game in probably 2001 or 2002. And and I played the hell out of it. We'll talk about Fantasia a little bit more specifically later. And then after playing that, I sought out the PS1 games that were available in North America. And then from then on, I played most of the Tales games within a year or two of them coming out. And I like some more than others. But Rob, what was your introduction to Tales?
Tales of Fantasia was always something of like a holy grail. I remember seeing it in all the game magazines and
it's
just
that thing
sort
you
of
could never have here.
yeah, totally. I came across it a few times in the stores in London when it was new, but it was super expensive. So I was always just kind of admiring it from afar. And my first hands-on time with the series was when Tales of Destiny came out back in like 1997 or 1998. And I would rent that over and over and over again because, at the time there was nothing else really like it.
Yeah,
Right on.
I always
So-
felt like it was like a NES RPG, for the next gen, and it basically looked like that too.
It did.
And it was really delightful for that, and like the graphics really crisp and clean, and for the most part, like you can say it's a very anime as fuck game, but I don't know, it's had a great long history at least.
Mm-hmm.
So, Steph, was Tales of Destiny also your introduction to the series?
Yeah, it actually was, but it was basically like that ever since. So any other game that came out, I was basically sold on day one, and then I backtracked on Fantasia right away.
Just to keep this train rolling, Alana, what was your introduction to Tales?
Oh, we got Tales late. So the first Tales game that came out in Europe was Symphonia. So that was my first game in the series.
Now,
I think that's when most people jumped on the series too.
It was pretty much.
It was at least a very big entry point where because that was probably one of the most popular GameCube RPGs. That was what, 03 Japan, 04 worldwide.
It was so different to anything else I'd played. I'd just played Final Fantasy and Secret of Mana and stuff like that. So this was completely different. And yeah, anime as hell, but like I really dug it. And then I have basically bought every other game in the series as soon as it's come out. But yeah, it's just super easy to slip into. And once you're done, you're never like really disappointed initially afterwards, but like you're always pretty happy with what you've gone through, regardless of any issues. And they're just nice fun. And
it's always at worst a 7 out of 10 game. The others are less, but you know,
they're awesome. There are some not good ones, but
clunkers, yeah.
It's an uneven series, I would agree, but so many of them are good that I am always at least willing to give them a shot. There was a period of I want to say like the maybe late 2000s into the early 2010s where it seemed like a new one was coming out every year.
Yeah.
And
they kind of were.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a gap.
It was close to every year, if not exactly. And so it felt like we were maybe getting a little inundated in Tales, and maybe also it felt like the quality was flagging a little bit. I don't know. That's a very subjective judgment, but they've
at the very least, I find most of the games do something right.
Yeah, but each one is at least at worst serviceable, and at most really really great. And and a lot of the Tales games have really dedicated fans, and Steph, you would know best of all of us, but when we post Tales stuff on social media, it always seems to do pretty well. Like fans respond very positively.
It's a pretty harmless series.
Harmless. A harmless series. Podcast over, people. We figured out Tales.
No, but like none of them actually do anything that bad. Most of them, like, they seem to be pretty well aware that they have a pretty broad audience, and they seem to cater to that as well.
And helpfully, they give each character a different hair color, so idiots like me can tell them apart and remember their names.
Ooh, I do like that, yeah. One of them's got to have one boring as hell name. Good old Lloyd and Stan and Luke.
Yeah, but Stan's H is in a weird place. Yeah.
It's a fancy Stan.
Maybe I should have mentioned this much earlier, but here on Retro Encounter, a couple times in the past, we have done episodes dedicated to our favorites of specific series. There are episodes about Final Fantasy, Pokemon, Zelda. We've done episodes where we mathematically determine our favorite game in a certain series by tallying nominations and then votes on every game within that series. And now we're doing the same for Tales. We are going to discuss every game in the series briefly, but from a vote that took place before the podcast, we have a sort of final 4 nominations. And at the end of the podcast, we're going to hold another vote and determine Retro Encounter's favorite Tales of video game.
I'm a big Tales of idiot. Like, I got lots of merchandise to prove it. And when Mike asked me to pick a favorite, I was like,
you were a little upset with me. I was worried. It's like, oh, are we still friends? I'm sorry.
It's weird, though, because, like, I know my favorite couple, but then, like, you go down to, like, 4, 5, 6, 7 if you're going to rank them, and then they're all, like, the same, and you're like, well, which one?
They're all tied for 5 games are tied for 3rd place.
Yeah, I'm so jealous of your Tales merch. The only merchandise I have is an Eisen keychain, who is adorable, and he's looking right at me, and I'm just really happy with that.
If you want, I'll bring some of them to E3 and we can play.
Deal.
I'm in a similar boat to Alana. I came up with my top 3 pretty easily, but when it came to a 4th, I was waffling between another 3 games or so. Before we go into those, let's stay broad a little bit. Let's each say one thing we like about Tales, just before we get into into talking about the individual games. I'll go first, since maybe you don't have enough time to prepare. I like how the casts always seem to have different personalities and goals, and seeing how the cast interacts or even clashes is a highlight of basically every Tales game, and they help that along by including skits. They just load these games up with dialogue, with characters talking about plot important things or silly things, just because they know that a lot of the fun is seeing these personalities clash. So
nothing is really less important to the game itself, but more important to like what Tales is than that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that the characters are very important to Tales games, and for the most part, they've done a very good job with the various casts of characters. So just the character personalities and the abundance of dialogue helped along by skits is something that I really like about Tales games.
Yeah.
Does anyone else want to volunteer a favorite before we start talking about the finalists?
I'm a big idiot. I like all the costumes.
Cameo costumes.
I swear I'll change it all up after like every dungeon, and I've bought probably too much. But yeah, I like that. I like the general settings too. I think they do a really good job making worlds, with the exception being Zestiria and Berseria, which I swear to God, I don't know what makes those games unique looking. It's like medieval village, the town.
And yeah, I also sort of love, this is piggybacking on Steph's point, the ton of costumes are always very referential towards past Tales games and other Namco games. Like, I think...
I actually think Vesperia has the best set. I've been having so much fun with those.
Same.
I love the villain set. I think that's so cool.
I'm worried I'm not finding any costumes. I'm still early in the game, but I've barely found anything.
I think those are really like time-sensitive mean quests to get costumes in Vesperia, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. You also get a free pack of them with the Definitive Edition, so you might have to use them in the very last tab in the menu. If you go in there, you'll have like Yuri Costume 1, and they're all like the bonus PS3 ones, so you'll get the Namco ones.
Yes, all right, I will do that as soon as we're done recording.
I love Repeat's baseball dog outfit.
It's from the Stadium game that Namco brought out in the 90s.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's one of the Namco costumes. Yeah, because right now I've got like Flynn dressed up as Chopin, and then I've got like Patty as Mr. Driller.
Hell yes! Oh my god!
Flynn is with you. He's in a fancy top hat, and when he's back
me
on
almost
the
want to buy it
nights,
again.
What character can dress up as Klonoa? Which one?
Oh, it was Carol.
Carol.
Oh,
okay.
was it Carol? I thought it was. I think Genius has one as well, doesn't he?
Presea has it in.
Presea had it.
Yeah, Presea's got Klonoa 2, and then Carol is Klonoa 1.
Importantly, Judith gets Cosmos.
She does,
which is pretty good.
Well, she basically is dressed like that anyway.
It's pretty obvious, yeah.
So, Alana or Rob, do you have something, a favorite thing about Tales that you want to bring up?
Yeah, I like the stupid incantations everybody says when they use spells. Very specific. No, I like Mysticots as well. I think the really crazy, over-the-top super moves are always something I love doing, and I'm a bit of a combo fanatic, so I do like pulling high numbers in battles, and they help.
The remaining high school edgelord in me really likes the spell title Dark Visitor. I always thought that one was really cool sounding. I like other cool stuff like Ice
my
Wall
dark companion.
The in-battle quotes in Tales are amazing, and I also love how the top lightning spell is always called Indignation, just like God being sort of at its creation. That's
game Ultima kind of thing. Yeah.
You can really see the shared DNA between this and like Valkyrie profile.
Yeah, you can.
I do want to say that I'm actually really happy the game stuck to its ARPG-ness and always done a pretty good job with it. Like I think one big thing about Vesperia is a lot of people aren't really used to going back to TP. And I like that, because I do like how they've moved away from it.
Yeah.
With CC or whatever Berseria uses, the kind of counter as well.
Yeah, I think we mentioned this on our Tales of the Abyss podcasts a million years ago, but it gets a little bit frustrating that you run out of TP really quickly if you're trying to pull off the best possible combos. And I think it was smart from Grace's onward to go to a non-TP system just so you can use your coolest moves more often. I thought that was very smart.
Who would have thought that like this sort of also ran not quite main series battle system of Rebirth would end up taking over the Tales series?
That's right. It did start with Rebirth, right?
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it, because I just never raised my hopes. So it's just like, okay, who cares?
They were calling it the Team Destiny system for a while because the guys who took the charge on the Destiny remake were mostly doing
Team
those
Destiny
battle
and
systems.
Team Symphonia, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Different artists, different styles.
Because Inomata does the artwork for Destiny 2.
Grace's.
Yeah, I think Grace's and Innocence was also her,
yes.
and then Fujishima, the Oh My Goddess dude, did Fantasia, Symphonia, Vesperia. It for a long time the series was divided between these two teams and two artists, but I think from Xillia onward they've been combined.
They became Team Xillia again,
and if you look at like Xillia and Berseria, you can tell these three were the Inomata characters and these three were the Fujishima characters.
Yep.
If there's big bows and lots of neon, it's Inomata.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun one to discuss. Who's better, Inomata or Fujishima?
Oh boy. How dare you, Steph, make me choose a favorite.
Yeah, different approaches. I feel like they're not really comparable. I like them both quite a bit, but I've got a soft spot for Fujishima because I really liked You're Under Arrest back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a podcast.
I have thought about trying to do an anime podcast called On My Podcast, but I never found the I never found the right pitch for it. So, Rob, do you have one favorite thing about Tales to get into before we really get into the podcast?
Sure. While I stole all the good intros from Steph, Steph has stolen mine. I, this is a series. I enjoy playing these games. I do not take this series serious. How's that for two words that sounded like? I don't take these games seriously at all. So I just want them to be like as goofy and madcap as can be. So like, give me all the costumes. Let me dress my team up like Pac-Man and Klonoa. Let me play all the mini games. Like, and especially don't make me pay for any of this. Just like include this as bonus stuff. So I want to play Dragon Buster. I want to hang out in the casino. I want to play that unbearable like volleyball game in Eternia just for the spectacle of it.
I hate that so much.
It's bad, but still it gives me pleasure to just like dip into it every now and then. And I lose every single game.
Or to play Uno, Whist.
Yeah. It took so much restraint not to play poker and Dragon Buster for 20 hours.
Yes.
Before I reviewed it.
I don't think they ever charge for the mini games, but holy hell,
no,
they charge you for costumes.
Yeah, from Graces onwards, I think it might have been Zestiria onwards, but yeah, DLC costumes are paid mostly, which is
because the original Graces was Wii, so that was before microtransactions were really a thing. So then when they moved into like the PS3 era.
I don't remember if it was Grace's F or Zillia, but someone tallied up the total cost of DLC, which was again mostly costumes, and it was over $100.
It was because Zillia had all like the Idolmaster.
It was probably Zillia.
Which is that's their cash cow series anyway. So like if you want like all the Idolmaster DLC, it's something like $900.
But like you could even buy like
why not just like drip that into Tails? Why not?
You could even buy like Bang accessories though, like different hairstyle accessories. Like it was
perfect.
At least they optioned it out, and the smaller stuff was cheaper. But yeah, they just fully embraced it right away.
You can also buy things like level boosters and just large quantities of items.
I actually don't mind that.
If it was competitive multiplayer, that would be unforgivable. But being a single player RPG, it's like, hey, if you want to spend that cash, then go ahead.
Yeah,
if you loved these games back in the day, but you're like working all the time now, and you just want to get to the end, whatever.
So again, it's great that Vesperia's Definitive Edition offers so much that it's almost unfair right from the get-go.
Yeah.
They even have like the level boosters, the money things, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, okay, if we're talking about what's good and bad about Tales DLC, maybe it's time to move on a little bit. I don't want this podcast to be 2.5 hours, even though I love all three of you dearly.
What's bad is Agart from Tales of Rebirth. She's like a cat girl bride. It's a hideous.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh my god.
Is she a playable character or not?
No.
She ain't, but she's like a very major character, but she's just got a very, very incredible design.
It's her eyes. They creep me out. It
is everything. She is just a very strong design.
Well, just to chain this into something that I do want to talk about.
There you go.
Rebirth is one of the games that is not in our Final Four. It was a PS2 game that came out in, I think, 2002-ish.
Steph, this picture. Oh my god.
Go backwards. Ew.
Oh,
Sorry.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think I've seen this person before.
You just see her like strutting down the catwalk. Call me Mr. Raider. Call me Mr. Wrong.
What did you say?
There's bad Namada.
What did you say her name was again?
Agart.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listeners, if you want to be horrified by a Tales of Cat Girls character, look up Agart from Tales of Rebirth. When we were talking before the podcast, Rob, you mentioned that the battle system in this has you jumping between sort of 3 lanes, like sort of foreground, midground, background. That was kind of like an old Fatal Fury game.
Yeah, it kind of works here. It doesn't in that DS game, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So you jump between 3 planes. Was it just to make combat easier, or was there like strategic advantage to it?
I think they hadn't really figured it out yet. I'm not sure.
I think they wanted it. They wanted it to be in like a 3D space, but they really were only comfortable doing combat on a 2D plane, like all of the previous Tales games. Really, it was don't let an enemy jump a lane and get behind you, and maybe yourself try to jump a lane and get behind them, kind of situation. But it was very different from like Eternia or Fantasia, where you're really 1 or 2 frontline fighters trying to play keep away so the enemy doesn't get to your healer and mage.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks weird, but I definitely wanted to try it. But Yeah, Rebirth was Japan limited, and I never got an import copy.
And like speaking of, like I feel like we can't do this list without listing obvious import fan favorite Tales of Destiny R, which seems to be like all the rage with anyone who's imported.
Yeah,
So we never got it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that remake came out in the mid 2000s, and it looks amazing. Like it looks like you're playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or something. The screen fills up with so much stuff when you're casting a Mystic Art. And Destiny 2 is another Japan-only game, which is a direct sequel from Destiny. I mean, the main character is Stan's son, Kyle.
Everybody wanted to play that. It's not that great, really.
But it does have the best opening.
I did import that one, and I was really excited about it, but I didn't get... the translation guide I had wasn't great, and I didn't get very far. But I wanted to fight, Barpatos and see and
no items
and see what this weird masked person named Judas was about.
Oh wow! Oh, traitors in the Tales series, really?
Oh what? Huh? Judas?
Whoa.
Maybe he betrayed someone once. Weird. But both of those were Japan only PS2 games, and unfortunately, we've never gotten an official version of either of them in English, but hey, maybe if Tales of Vesperia Definitive does well, Namco, maybe
go off Namco,
please.
Maybe
either of those or the Destiny remake.
Yeah, would they have to rename it at this point, or is this Destiny 2 thing gone now? Because obviously, probably the main reason we didn't get it was that Eternia was called Destiny 2 in America.
They could just give it a subtitle like Tales of Destiny: The Next Journey or something like that.
Sure, Tales of Destiny: The New Challengers.
Yeah.
Tales of Destiny: Second Impact.
Wait a minute.
Tales of Destiny: Never Speak to Me or My Son Again.
Well, yeah.
No, they could just do the God of War strategy and just call it Tales of Destiny, just to confuse everyone.
See, but then again, would you want to be like a new 10-year-old gamer being like, well, I missed the first 5 God of Wars?
Well, I missed the first 5 Tales of I missed the first 5 Tales of Destiny, so
Never played a God of War until the most recent one, so.
Oh, did you like it?
I've not gotten very far. I like it so far though, but
that's nice.
It's taking us deadly off topic.
That's a very beautiful, cool game that I think just has a lot of question marks or interrobangs around it that maybe we shouldn't discuss in this podcast. But three other games that are not in our final 4 are the DS trio from the 2000s: Tales of the Tempest, Tales of Innocence, and Tales of Hearts. Those first 2 never came out officially outside Japan, but Tales of Hearts' Vita remake did have a release called Tales of Hearts R.
Yeah.
That really made it. I can hear by the fart sounds that somebody agrees with me that that game. That was another one that was like its reputation preceded it, and then when we finally were able to get our hands on it, it was like, oh.
I think what it is that like Hearts did more for the Nintendo DS than it did as a Vita game, and it was a pretty bare bones and stripped down experience.
I would see it being more charming as a 2D game rather than like a very, very barren 3D game.
I like the battle system in it, but everything else just flat. But I think I want to point out, most importantly, with the DS version, do you remember those weird 2 versions that Japan got? They had the real
It came out one with like 2D art and one with 3D art, and they both.
Nothing ever felt like they've been trying to forget it, and
the 3D version looked like an alien version of the second one.
Sister series Star Ocean did the same thing with Star Ocean 4 in Japan.
They did with the PS4 version. No, actually, you're right.
Yeah,
PS3 version and the Xbox version, we got the real
secretly
the CGI
liked it.
one.
I won't lie.
I don't mind the anime version of Star Ocean 4, but
it's just, costing them a lot of money.
I know. Exactly. Yeah, I'm surprised they'd go through so much effort just to.
It has to be expensive to double the amount of art assets that you use, at least, right?
And then double the amount of cartridges, I guess.
Did people really hate anime that much back in the mid-O's?
If anything,
I think it was people hated the 3D. I think that's what it was in Japan. Anyway.
Yeah, but that's what happened, though, right?
Yeah.
Because I guess they would have made that for an international audience, like they did.
I figured
for Star Ocean.
that the core audience, even outside Japan, would be more interested in the anime version because these RPGs are anime as hell. They want the anime in their RPGs. Was my thought, at least with Tales of Hearts.
I think the problem was putting Vesperia on Xbox 360 because I think the sales dipped at that point. I don't know, but yeah.
It was only a few months after the release that they actually had the PS3 version lined up, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
like,
that was because
there's
no one in
no
Japan had
one
an Xbox 360.
Yes, it was. That's why they put it on PS3.
On the bright side, like the 360 had a really good run. So I mean, even if you did get the 360, it was not a bad system to have. And it had Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon as well. So I mean, it actually had a few interesting exclusives.
Yeah, well, and the
Yeah.
Xbox 360 dominated North America, and the PS3
Yeah.
outsold it in both Europe and Japan. So it was, I'm sure it was confusing for a while for poor Namco on what system to put our games on. And they did put 3 on the DS, which is one of the most successful systems of all time.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, those 3 games were a little underwhelming. I did play a translated version of Innocence up
I
until
played that one too.
I didn't finish it, but I got up to the volcano dungeon, which was at least far enough to have all 6 characters.
Again, for a Nintendo DS game, it is superb. But I didn't
The
think
combat was really good. Felt really good for being a
Yeah.
Nintendo game, for being a DS game. But
So the whole big thing about Innocence is like reincarnation, and so you'd have like
Yes.
some asshole be like, "You killed me in a past life. I'm here for revenge," and they die again.
It was really like, who cares about a lot of that?
yeah, they were
To
trying.
me, anyway.
They were trying to tell the
Yeah.
story of some big battle between gods from centuries ago, and
They
whenever
could
you
have
met
just
a new
done
character,
that.
yeah, whenever you met a new, but they didn't keep that like behind a curtain. They told you, "Oh, this is who I was in the past life." As soon as you meet someone, so which made it awkward for two of the main characters. Like, "Oh yes, we were lovers in a past life, but I'm not interested in you now, Baka." It's like, "Oh great."
It's like, I'm a sad little crying boy, and I'm gonna buy ice cream for everybody while they abuse me. And actually, I was a dictator god in my past life. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like,
he was not a
oh.
fun
Yeah.
protagonist.
Yeah,
No.
he was not a very fun protagonist. He
Weenie.
wielded a sword bigger than he was, even though he had arms
Oh,
like
Luca.
pixie sticks.
Ruka, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ruka.
I'm not a big Luca fan. I thought that his sword buddy Spada would have been a much more fun main character.
Spada is cool. I know
He's
next
alright.
Innocence is the one
He's got a
that
cool
I
hat.
know
Spada was great,
very
yeah.
little about. Yeah.
Spada's
I
hat
don't
should
Too. I love that hat. Yeah.
Spada's hat should have been the
It's
main
cool.
character.
But I think that was developed by like the Tales of the World team. So there's a whole lot of procedural dungeons in there, as like
Ooh.
in lieu of like side
Yeah,
quests.
that's
There's
right.
lots
Yeah, I
A
of
think
lot of
you're right.
dungeons that were like
Yeah.
that were like angled grids where he,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Why?
I got sick of the volcano
Why?
dungeon is why I stopped playing it. But-
Okay.
Anyway, moving
where
on
were we?
to let's talk about Tales of Legendia now. Tales of Legendia is an unusual black sheep in the series because there's no multiplayer. They go back
The
to
music, right?
they go back to a 2D plane, even though
This
it's
is a
after
Goshina
Symphonia, and
soundtrack.
I think also after
is.
Abyss.
It wasn't after
It's just
Abyss.
before-
Oh, it was just before
it's-
Abyss. Okay,
Yeah, Abyss was the 10-year anniversary,
but it's
and
but,
this was the year before.
but also maybe most unusually, it's not an Inomata or a Fujishima game. They bring on a new character designer, the same person from Samurai Champloo.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Kazuto Nakazawa
Nakazawa,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, thank you for the assist, Rob.
worked on Parasite Dolls and Kill Bill as well.
Chloe's got the greatest skin tight onesie. Senel's a weird looking protagonist. On top
I
of
like
using
him.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I don't
love-
like him. I like his design.
I like that he has that he's a martial artist with suplex finishers.
Yeah, yeah.
Like-
You can even do like the
Yeah,
big
it's
enemies
cool.
too, right?
Yeah, no. Every couple levels, he upgrades his finisher that allow him to body slam bigger and bigger enemies. At which point, you can eventually body slam dragons and giant adamantoids impersonating turtles. The combat in that game was pretty good, especially if you like did like switches between Senel and Chloe. You could get 100+ combos, even playing single player, pretty easily. Like it was a very functional Tales game, but
The only problem is
well,
like by the end, everything was a damage sponge, and you were literally spending
yes.
Oh.
so long in battles. So like I think as much as people wanted to like it again, it was the 3D thing I think was just starting to take off, so people really liked that. And yeah, just the enemies being a damage sponge was not helping.
And also, I mean, maybe most unforgivable about this game, which I mostly liked until towards the
I know what
end.
you're gonna say.
I was eye rolling a little bit. They make you repeat every single dungeon in the game with
Well.
new context in the second half. And
That's
they
the,
do
that's the epilogue, really. You can kind of stop there.
But it's
not
really good
though, 'cause
epilogue.
It is, and every chapter of the epilogue centers on like the personal quest of every character other than Senel. And and that's really cool. Like figuring out what the deal with Grun is, and helping Chloe with her revenge, and Moses and his dog, like bringing tears to my eyes. All of that was pretty cool, but I just didn't love repeating every dungeon again.
It also brought back random battles, and what was weirdly obnoxious about that is even with a holy bottle, you'd still always fight 3 battles every time.
Jesus.
Yeah.
We never got Legendia over here, so this is a lot of this is news to me. But I always wanted to give it a
the
go.
characters and the graphics are
The
really
soundtrack
nice.
is incredible, easily the best in the series. The series is not known for amazing music, but Legendia's is probably the only one. Maybe some of Zestiria's, which incidentally is also co-composed by Goshina. This is entirely composed by Goshina.
Eschewing Sakuraba was a really good move, and I agree with you. This is one of the strongest soundtracks in the series, and I like this game a lot. I felt that it was really daring. I mean, it's got this very different feel from every other game in the series,
That's
like due in
true.
part to the battle system was developed by like a number of people who worked on Tekken and Soul Calibur.
That's right.
But
yeah,
like,
they even got rid of the main artist and the main composer, so it felt different quite literally because the entire framework was different.
So I don't know what they were trying to do with this game. It kind of seemed like they were trying to spin this out into a series. I don't know if you remember, for a long time when the Wii launched, Namco announced Swords of Legendia. And then
I
that
love how
just
they actually made a joke about that in Tales of Graces, actually.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yeah. So like Tales of Graces has like a best kind of super item, and they're all based on logos and motifs from other series games, and so literally you can get the Sword of Legendia.
Nice. Finally.
I also loved how in Tales of Berseria, when you send up your scout ship to do secret missions, all of the artifacts you find and the place names that you journey to are named after past Tales games, and the magic urn you find is from like an island called Groon.
For lack of better words, I mean, like, the Tales series does fan service quite right.
Oh, yeah. They're very self-referential
Very literal,
with their special items and costumes and
the
series knows what it is.
Yeah.
So.
And what, Namcamboda Island or whatever?
Yeah,
Namco
Bandai. Yeah,
That's
Namco Bandai Isle, which Namco Bandai. Yeah.
But I think, Mike, we're going to disagree on this, but I really thought that it was a cool and daring move to set this on just one island, because I like small-scale RPGs.
That wasn't my problem. I just don't like one-town games. Like when I play a big RPG, and maybe me wanting a big RPG is what's at odds here. I like sort of like exploring an area with different towns and different cultures and different different entire worlds. The world felt a little too small, being on a magical island with one town. But
I'm gonna be weirdly honest, but whenever I think of Legendia, I remember taking driving school lessons, because that's totally what I was doing at that time when it came out. So I always just remember my driving teacher, Miroslav Street Legal Driving School. He had a great accent. I loved him to death.
I remember the singing otters that would all go oars.
Actually, it's weird because the Tales series has been around so long. I actually have weird, distinct memories with all of them. Like whenever I think of Tales of Symphonia, I think of Andre 3000's "Hey Ya," because that's what was playing when I played it. So whenever I hear "Hey Ya," I just want to boot up Symphonia.
When I was growing up in my parents' house, I would always have the small TV with my games, and my sister would have movies or television on the big TV, because the rule in the house was, movies and television are more important than video games. So I often remember RPGs by what my sister was watching at the time.
What was she watching?
And for Legendia, I'm pretty sure that was a lot of Gilmore Girls. So I associate Legendia with Gilmore Girls, and my sister
has good taste.
I have a shockingly deep knowledge of Gilmore Girls because of how much I watched vicariously. Whatever. Logan is the worst, by the way. Anyway,
yes.
Legendia came out like the week that I had moved out of my mom's house for the first time. I remember importing it and like having a job and living on my own, and it just being kind of surreal and weird. So.
Oh wow! Yeah, that first time you move out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
All right, so if we're talking about driving school and Gilmore Girls, maybe we should move on to a new topic. Neither Xillia nor Xillia 2 is in our final four, and those are recent-ish. They were towards the end of the lifespan of the PS3, PSV60 generation of game consoles, and I've only played the first 9 or 10 hours of Xillia, but I actually really liked it. The big weird open spaces were
Wait, can I go into a bit of a monologue about that? Yeah,
I
hated
those.
that the entire world is a boxed canyon.
Yeah,
it really is.
It really is.
And it's
Very
always in
unattractive.
3 parts.
They kind of did that for Zestiria and Berseria also, just having the spaces in between towns and dungeons being these big walled gardens, like a Mario 64 level or something.
Yeah.
But they felt worse in Xillia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
I don't even think I met the 6th playable character, how far I played it. But I liked most of the characters. The combat felt all right. Mila's hair is incredible.
Mila's design is ridiculous.
No, her design's ridiculous, but just her hair, I think, is should be the 7th character, really.
Yeah,
Those were the first. I think those were the first games that really gave me an appreciation of Matthew Mercer and how. He's more than just a Troy Baker sound-alike.
He got his own Persona character one game later.
2013 was like his year because he was Chrom in Fire Emblem Awakening as well. They was the same year. Those games came out in the same year, and I remember. Yeah, I actually really like Xillia 2. I do not like Xillia 2.
Okay, so you like Xillia also, but not Xillia 2.
Yes. Also,
how can you throw shade at Rolo like that?
I love Rolo. Rolo is the single best thing about Xillia 2, and I do like Luca as well. And I don't like the way that they use the.
I love the games used to switch their cat mode and dog mode games.
Yeah, but I like the cast of Xillia is one of my favorites. So I think mostly because I just really like Alvin, which is Matt Mercer's character. What a git! Oh my god!
Has there ever? Okay, minor spoilers for Tales of Xillia, but has there ever been a more obvious? He's the one that's a secret agent for someone else character.
They do not hide it at all. They lampshade it
it's
all
so
the
obvious.
time.
It's really interesting. They do
Raven.
give a lot of context to it. Yeah, I was going to say Raven is really obvious as well.
I thought it was less obvious for Raven and far less obvious for the.
But Raven's always sneaking off.
But
he's not going for toilet breaks.
I didn't think he would end up being who he was though. I didn't.
His
guess that.
identity did throw me. Like
I love that plot twist so much.
And the plot twist of who betrays your party in Abyss, which you listen to the old podcast if you don't know who that is, also threw me pretty well.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be Jade.
Yeah, I was sure it was going to be Jade or Tyr, probably. But
no bad words against my precious Jade.
No, it's not bad word at all. I love Jade.
Of all of these sociopath mages in this game, Jade and Rita are 1A and 1B. They're fantastic.
Yeah,
I actually, when I did a replay, I didn't like Xillia at first, but when I did a replay, I actually appreciated it a lot more. The only thing I didn't like is it had a very.
I should give it a replay. I want to give that game another chance.
The one thing I don't like is it has a very tell, don't show style of story, and that really sucks.
Yeah, it does.
It's
there's
got
a lot
a great
of
story, and there's so much of it.
There's so much stuff that's not in the game as well. You have to read side material, and that's why I think I really appreciate it.
The choice of protagonist, I felt like it didn't matter as much as it could have or
so
should
hot
have.
take,
No.
I wish
felt like
it was
shouldn't have been
Mila
there.
and Alvin who should have been the 2 protagonists.
Really?
That
I
would
just
have been way
think
more
I think
interesting.
Alvin is more important than any of the other characters in the game.
Jude is just an audience stand-in. He's the usual good
Jude
boy.
is
so good in combat. Literally, his only saving thing is that he's the combat medic of your dreams.
Well, I kind of like Jude as a protagonist, but I do understand why people don't, because he is a little follow Mila and do what she wants me to do and protect her and fall in love with her, and I'm just like, no, boy.
He sucks at first. His little sad puppy dogism suck until he finally drops
Oh my god!
Oh, you guys
think
are the greatest.
I think really they either should have made Jude the protagonist and had all the other more important characters surrounding him and his relentless optimism and love for Mila, or they should have just cut him and made the game more about Mila and Alvin and these other more important characters, and and make the combat medic someone else.
I want to jump into Xillia 2 for a different turn for the series, in that you have a silent protagonist, and it lures you into the sense of security that you have a lot of choices in game, and those choices really don't matter. And there's one really big important choice, like near the end. And I hate all of them, and I hate the outcome of all of them, and I hate all the endings.
Oh, wow.
Controversial opinion. I
really wanted to get the bad ending, and I could just not beat that boss battle.
The only ending,
hard.
the only ending that's good is, well, the Xillia 2 starts off with you accruing a massive debt, basically, and the game is gated by you paying off this debt. So you have to get to certain chapters. You'll get a phone call from someone, and they'll be like, "Hey, you owe us this much money," and until leave me, you can't get to the next chapter or the next story section. I think it's like 1 billion gold or 1 million gold or something like that.
Something ridiculous.
But it's a hot spring scene in reverse with all the men instead, and it's great.
All right,
Nice.
That sounds all right. I know very little about Xillia 2, but that makes me 20% more interested in the game.
I like
Spring
what Tales of
Reverse.
Xillia did for its original cast more than its new cast. I could not really care about the unique chapters.
Yeah.
A lot of it felt too edgy for edgy's sake, and yeah, the endings are just kind of dissatisfying to give
Like,
that sort
Zuko's
of...
the silent protagonist, but he's
Hamlet
got such a
ending.
defined personality that none of the options are viable for him at all. Like, it just annoys me a little bit.
He's
but-
the
Oh,
quiet
Sam
man. If you play New
protagonist,
Game Plus, you get his dialogue, don't you? And
You
he's
do,
got nothing to
yeah.
say then either.
No.
No, but it's even lamer than that. They just kind of read it off in the screen. Like, he doesn't
Yeah.
actually say it. He just reads it, and it's sort of like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Best dressed protagonist, I will say that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I love that
He
outfit.
looks awesome. His
I-
fantasy
I used to dress like
work
that.
attire.
Oh, and is he the character with the big tie and vest?
That's right.
Yeah.
I
Suspenders.
like those modern redesigns for all of those characters, actually. They're all quite
Yeah.
cool.
He reminded me of Adele from Disgaea 2, who has like he has like a sleeveless work shirt with a giant collar and a tie that's about as big as a cape.
That looks so dumb, that design.
Like,
I love its dumbness so much.
weirdly, like I don't really have many fond feelings for the Xillia duology at all, but I played through both of them, and then I played through like the bulk of both of their bonus dungeons, and like I don't feel like I wasted my time. I had fun.
Like I had undergone just like a minor surgery, but it was enough to get pain pills. And anyways, I was stoned throughout entirety of Xillia 2, so I liked it probably more than I thought I did.
So, okay, I haven't played any Xillia
I think
2,
I was
but
probably
you're
stoned anyway.
suggesting accompanying it with Oxy or Vicodin.
Yes.
All right, got it. Okay, speaking of other terrible Tales sequels,
No, please don't.
Symphonia nor Symphonia 2 are in our final four, and maybe the less we speak of the Night of Ratatosk, the better.
Dawn of the New World.
Yeah.
Right.
It was terrible, like straight up. I played it, I think, on one afternoon on a Sunday. I got through most of it, and I was just like,
You can play
I
most
felt like
of
I
it in one
wasted-
afternoon?
Yeah, I honestly felt like I
It's-
wasted my time.
It's not long. I think it's like 25 hours, maybe.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
So I missed this on Wii, and then when it came to PS3, it was frequently on sale before the PS4 came out, and I think it was like both games for something like £10. And I was like, well,
Yeah, why
I've
not?
played Symphonia. I loved it. I loved it at the time. I don't really want to go back to it. I will get I will get the sequel because I haven't played that, and that's only like £3.
You think
So-
they would have learned with Vesperia that they should not have gotten new actors?
Oh my god! Just like I think I tapped out around the point that it was like your first quest is to walk around town and apologize to everybody for your existence. No.
It's got the most random best ending requirements. It's literally happens in two of the dungeons that you visited before. For the lightning dungeon, you just can't fall off the edge. Okay. For the fire one, you just can't leave it.
Is
you
that-
just can't leave the dungeon.
Is
to
there any
finish it in one go, and
context
that's
or-
it. None, no
And
context.
then you
That.
get the best ending by like losing the final boss battle. Is that right?
I don't know anymore. I don't care.
It's
I'll be honest.
like because you're actually the bad guy and you have to be vanquished. That's kind of a neat idea, but
I
it
like
seems like
the
it's
Tales
just
So
an
you're saying you
awful
have to
game.
apologize to the final boss as well.
Exactly. I think the final boss is I'm not going to spoil.
Tales of Xillia 2's bad ending that you get is so challenging and so much cooler and edgy. I like
Yeah.
that one a lot better.
I tried
Yeah.
so many times. I tried so many times. I just could not do it.
All right. Well, okay, that's already more than enough time dedicated to Dawn of the New World. Tales of Symphonia is a pretty good RPG. We talked about it a little bit
love
beforehand.
that game.
It was a maybe not a system seller, but it was a really popular RPG for the GameCube, a system that didn't have a ton of great RPGs.
It started that great running gag of terrible Wanted posters too.
Oh, I love that gag so much.
And also, one thing that I thought was just an excellent case of timing for Symphonia, the GameCube had 4 controller ports, so getting a 4-player game was as easy as you can imagine for Symphonia. And even though the camera wasn't great when you were supporting 4 players, I played it was the start of a lot of fun 4-player tales for me, and that was
You just needed the one person who's bad at games to be the one who like plugs B a bunch of times to be a mage to make it cast faster.
Thanks.
And, like, thanks, buddy.
I didn't have first choice of characters when I joined my group playing that game, so I ended up using Colette and Regal a lot.
Ooh.
And but I kind of liked it a lot because I discovered Colette's awesome spiked balls attack, and I got surprisingly good with Regal, and I was able to he was the easiest character for me to solo the arena with.
Yeah, Regal's really fun to play as.
What a stupid character, though.
I know, right?
I feel so guilty. I will wear handcuffs forever.
And only kick. It's only mildly dumber than Sanji from One Piece. These hands are only for cooking and women, so I shall kick with my feet.
That game has so many cheesy one-liners, though, and I always remember Regal's what is this ominous light that threatens to engulf us? And it's just I love it.
He comes in so late into the game, and he's just a big old ham. And
I know.
Isn't he like a hotel magnate as well?
That's Crispin Freeman.
Yeah,
he
was like a wealthy businessman who got in trouble and was sent to prison.
I love that he gets the title El Presidente.
Yeah, he's the president of the Altamira Company, which is the resort town. Yeah, he killed his girlfriend. Spoilers.
It was for merciful reasons.
Because she was experimented on, and turning into a monster, just like the kind granny from the first 2 hours of the game.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Grandma
yikes.
Marble. Oh no! In her concentration camp, being whipped. What a tonal whiplash.
Right? Yeah.
Lloyd, you're not a dwarf,
man.
but there's half-elf racism everywhere.
Those character designs, I did not remember it looking the way it does.
Yeah, it's not aged
And
very
I
nicely.
don't like it at all. This sort of half step between sort of anime cell shaded characters and chibi characters with the proportions are just all weird, and it's I was really surprised because I really did not remember it looking like that at all.
It sort of looked like a Final Fantasy VII's Sprite 0.5 kind of look.
Kind of.
A little bit with sort of definitely heads that are a little too large with sort of painted on kind of facial features that don't look great. The art style change between Symphonia and Abyss, which are both Fujishima games, I thought was a major improvement.
Yeah.
Most definitely, yeah. I guess they'd gotten a hold of the hardware at that point and were able to do what they wanted to do.
I did like how many dumb little charming things they did with Symphonia. I love that Colette fell through a wall in a town and you see her.
There's the hole in the wall when you go back to Isalia, at the end of the game, and it's still there.
It's still there. They just they just kind of sweat drop when they're around it, I guess.
Symphonia has one of the best side quests in the series as well because you get to name all the dogs. So
Yeah.
Colette gets to name all the dogs. Oh, what a great talent!
Waffle, you have such a fluffy tail. It's so sweet.
I know, it's so cute. But yeah,
the game also had a pretty half-baked betrayal storyline with Zelos, where they kind of abandoned ship. That way.
Kratos
you're acting
is way
kind
better.
of funny. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I was oh yeah, he is fine.
Double betrayal though, isn't it? Because he's a double agent. Yeah.
I thought Cam Clark was really hammy as Kratos. What are you doing?
It was so good.
Yeah.
The game is so early 2000s. It's really painful to go back and play, but I still kind of adore bits of it. And
Zelos has
plot
aged
is
really
so
well.
clumsy.
I thought he was so much fun.
Yeah, it's really clumsy. All the religious side stuff and things like that is super clumsy. But it's just I don't know.
It's whenever he learns a new skill, he's I must be a genius.
Burn, baby, eruption.
Symphonia introduced one of my favorite ongoing side quests in the series, the Fell Arms.
Yes.
Oh right, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, this is the one with the sword dancers and Abyssia.
No.
The sword
that is another good
in it,
one.
Yeah, it's a different one.
Yeah. Okay, sword dancers are a different side quest, but they are in that. And I'm thinking of Abyssion.
Yeah, I think that was his name.
Is he the final boss of the Fell Arms quest?
Yeah, he is. He's
right.
The one inside the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
So you get these H.P. Lovecraft-esque eldritch weapons that are pretty weak at first, and then when you do the side quest to power them up, they get stronger with every single kill, and they all just look horrible. You're just wielding these writhing masses of just pure evil.
I think it might be a little bit of the Soul Calibur Soul Edge influence from a different Namco team, and even in Tales of the Abyss, 3 of the Fell Arms are these horrible eldritch black and crimson things, and the other 3 are like holy
Like,
shiny
overly
weapons.
holy,
yeah.
Again, like Soul Edge versus Soul Calibur. But yeah, that side quest has been repeated in maybe every Tales game since. I'd have to check a list or something.
Most, yeah.
Most,
yeah.
maybe not all, but it's cool and satisfying if you're willing to put in the time for it. I thought it was maybe a little bit better in Abyss because there was more of a story tie-in, but it's very cool in Symphonia.
Yeah. Yeah, they do really cool side quests in these games. And like I always like how they even bring back Pirate Ifreed in some weird, ridiculous context as well.
God,
Yeah.
searching for all of his treasure in Fantasia was a nightmare. Definitely check a guide for that instead of trying to follow all the nonsense clues. But yeah, he's a cool recurring bit.
I think sorry, this is like a stupid thing, but I think Fantasia actually had a sub item that was literally a small like percussion thing.
I think
You could actually make your own little drum set, and it was all SNES bit sounds. Like
I think I think it changed your
Yeah.
attack your attack sounds into like drum sound noises.
there's like and there's also like the combo item that they give
Yeah,
you. Like,
which is just a Super Nintendo controller that allows you to use any skill in the game instead of just equipping 4. But yeah, you have to use like Street Fighter motions.
oh my god, that is so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Very cool.
I remember that one better than the drum set item. But anyway, okay.
They always put something ridiculous in all of these games, and I love it to bits. Like I definitely love the sort of Super Sentai Power Rangers thing they had in Abyss. Too.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah, the Abyssman costume.
The Abyssman costumes.
cool.
Have you replayed it yet?
No,
that's
you
right.
can only get them in a replay, and I have not done a replay yet, sadly.
Disappointed.
That's a bucket list thing for you, I feel.
Yeah, he'll do it at some point.
Hey,
All right, Steffi getting hungry. We should get going.
Persona 4 Golden had the dignity to allow you to get them on the first run. But anyway,
Oh, they did have that in that, eh?
yeah, they're
shit.
Phoenix Ranger Jetman. I'm sorry, Phoenix Ranger Featherman are.
Featherman are.
They're based on the actual Sentai show called Jetman. But okay, never mind. Moving on. Neither Zestiria nor Berseria, the recent duology of Tales games, and the 2 most recent games as of this recording, because maybe there'll be an announcement after January 29th. But neither of them are in our final 4. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong. Zestiria was considered below average, and Berseria is just anime revenge delightful nonsense.
Yeah.
Syria has some good bits, but it's a little bit like, there's still not enough different here.
I like how ridiculous the character motivations are in Berseria. You have 2 literal revenge monsters. One spirit cursed with bad luck, one spirit cursed with like not knowing anything about the world.
I love Aizen. Oh my god.
Yeah,
oh my god, right?
And then Eleanor being challenged with her whole worldview, and then whatever the hell Majilu is. It's a really
Majilu's
silly.
good.
It's
I
a really
love
silly
Majilu.
cast, but I think a really fun cast. Like they're sort of character extremes, but not in a bad way for me. I almost
I think it was more
voted
the
for it.
world and sort of weird sort of plot elements. I don't know. I think
Yeah,
that game really
I did-
stood out to me.
It didn't click for a lot of people. I will be honest and say I put it in my top 4 because I do
I almost
really,
did.
really dig it.
I haven't finished it though, and that was that's the my bugaboo about that game.
Yeah, I think it's the characters. They're just like Vesperia. They're like 6 people who don't know each other, slam together, have some fun, and then it is a bit over edgy. And looking back at it, like there are definitely some things I would love
Velvet
to
could
change.
have
And it
lightened
is-
up a lot sooner.
It's one of the
takes
best
a while.
casts. I probably would have ranked it higher. I just ended up falling off of it because I think I was just a little bit all tailsed out.
Yeah, no,
When it
that's
came out.
understandable because I think
I
following
will
on from-
revisit it because I
same.
I really did enjoy it when I was playing it. I just got frustrated with a late death that had me lose about 2 hours of gameplay. Because
It's another game.
Yeah, there's
guilty
no
of
there's
damage
no autosave in it.
sponges. Yeah, there's
How
another
did-
game guilty of damage sponges as well towards the end of the game. The
Yeah.
final boss is horrible. I hated
How
it.
did we fare with the Zestiria then? Because I that's one of the few I've not beaten.
I liked it at the time, but I went back to it 2 months later and just went, no.
I fell off
so-
it in a major way. I just did
It's-
not care.
It's really
I hated
plain.
the equipment system. Yeah, the equipment system actually took way more effort than it was worth, and that's when I fell off.
They improved on it in Berseria a little bit, but it's still annoying. But yeah, Zestiria's got so many little systems that it explains through 40 text boxes that you just do not take in. And I'm just like, and it's got so many restrictions as well, which is one of my other problems with Xillia 2, in that you only have 2 human characters in your party, and you have to have them in. and then you can only have 2 other characters, so you always have to have Saray and Rose or Alicia.
And then you can fuse with the non-human characters, which is a sort of late game plot point in Berseria. Like,
yes.
but in Berseria, the human spirit fusion is a like dark experiment. But in Zestiria, it's like commonplace with a human and spirit partner fighting together.
The shepherd's ability.
Okay, you're right. I haven't played Zestiria, so I'm spitballing a little bit. But I thought that seemed cool, but also seemed a little bit limiting. Like party freedom is one of the highlights of a lot of previous Tales games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a massive downer. Yeah, I think I like the fact that it went back because it was the 20th anniversary game, Zestiria, I think. So they took it right back to the roots and went traditional fantasy, but it just didn't do much.
2015 or 2016 would have been the 20th anniversary.
Yeah, it was 2015 here at least. But yeah, I feel disappointed because it was the one game that I played that in Hearts R and was like, I think I might be done with this series now. It was just a bit much.
But then Berseria reeled you right back in.
Berseria reeled me right back in with pirates and a pirate man I want to punch me, so there you go.
He doesn't really change weapons. He just changes the band around his his bracelet around his arm, and it inspires him to punch a little differently.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like if male gamers have Tifa Lockhart, I'm happy we have Eisen.
Yeah,
okay.
Me too. I'll take it.
He is a handsome man, that's for sure. But I liked how his every character in Berseria has a sort of gameplay gimmick, how they can pull off their special moves.
Yeah, I loved that.
It made them feel different and unique. And it's a little bit annoying with Rokuro, who can only do sort of counter moves. When the rest of his moveset is pretty good, but pulling off counters is kind of annoying. Velvet is a broken beast with her, eating other enemies and chaining them to supers. But Eisen would pull off moves following knockdowns, and if you just load him up with knockdown stuff, he is the most fun character to use in random battles. He's less good against bosses, but it's awesome pulling off the knockdown dragon transformation stuff. He's great.
I played.
What was Magilou's gimmick? I forgot.
Hers was she could like absorb enemy magic attacks and then like fire back with more powerful version of her spells or spells without casting times or something.
Right. Yep.
She seems strong, but I didn't use her. I really switched between the 3 close range attackers and Eleanor sometimes, but I'm bad at air attacks, so I didn't use her.
I definitely like how a lot of recent Tales games have been trying to put in a character in there for everyone. They always have that one kind of classic one who's doing your Demon Fang. But
there's
a lot of the older ones,
character, one punchy character, one air character, at least 2 flavors of mage. Yep.
But one thing I like is that while the newer games I find are a bit easier to get into, they're just a bit newer. One thing I don't like about the older ones is that it's only the main character who really feels comfortable, I find.
Yeah, I think Eternia might be the exception because Farah is so cool and so fun to play as. I love playing as Farah.
She is good.
Yeah, the only thing I hate about that one though is that I found Chat and Max were unfortunately just undercooked as far as
if you give Max the Chancellor, he will go through his entire TP bar in one move, but it is the most satisfying attack in the game. Also, God, his.
I don't know how he became the head of a rebellion. He's just kind of hey, do you want to lead us? Yeah.
He gives one-word answers to everything, and so, unless it's him firing his laser and going ha ha ha.
And I love his second in command is a lot more empathetic and well thought out, and does most of the talking. He's just
He's just an inspirational figurehead, and I love him for it.
Mm-hmm. He's got a wife too, right?
Yeah, I think so. I have a partner.
Yeah, and you just kind of meet her in random places.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. If we're talking about Max from Eternia, maybe we should move on a little bit because we do want to get to Eternia soon. But next is a game that got a couple votes. Tales of Fantasia, the original Tales game before that team split off to make Star Ocean and Valkyrie Profile. Tales of Fantasia is a really, really good Super Famicom RPG.
I loved it. I nearly voted for it, but I haven't played a good version of it. So.
I've played it on Super Famicom emulator twice, the PS1 emulated version once, and the GBA version once.
Oh, see, I want to play the PS1 or the PSP
because I was obsessed with that game for like the first half of the 2000s. But
that the PS1 remake is very, very good.
Yeah,
outstanding.
Yeah,
love it.
The PSP full voice version might be the best way to play it because it's the PS1 version with more voice work. And supposedly slightly better load times, but I haven't checked that for myself. But it
slightly
is,
better graphics too. Is that right? Did they redraw the characters?
They did redraw the characters to make them a little bit.
Brought them in line with like Eternia.
Yeah, I think they give Mint a nurse costume instead of her little fur hat, which I don't like as much. But
no, I mean because Mint's costume is so like early '90s anime.
Yeah,
I'm 100% here for that.
Yeah, I like Kless's armor does look better. It looks like the same but a little bit crisper. But they changed Mint to a nurse outfit, and I don't like that as much.
I actually love the thought process with Kless though. They actually give him a handle for his giant sword, so he can like slice through it a bit better. And they put friggin' a bicycle seat on Archie's broomstick.
And they gave her a cool little cloak in the remake, which I think looks good.
Really cute.
Yeah, I love those character designs. They're so simple, but they're so cute. I love
very,
them.
very, very good at what they set out to do.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned this a long time ago, how old Tales games felt like you were sort of keeping the enemy at bay so your mage and healer would be safe. It's like Fantasia is all that, because Kless is really the only capable main character, player character, and all of your other characters are either ranged attackers or healers. So,
I was going to say, if you're playing the Famicom version, especially Super Camp Famicom version, especially, but if you're playing any of the others, you do have Suzu, but she doesn't join you until the third act.
And also, she's mostly a ranged character. She throws a bunch of kunai and stuff. But like I felt like I was playing a fighting game, but I had three people behind me, like helping out, which was cool. I don't think it totally holds up compared to what modern Tales is, especially when you put in the 3D plane and the possibility of multiplayer. But Fantasia, I don't know if I'll ever replay it because I've played that damn thing 4 times and have sunk probably a couple hundred hours into it. It's a long game already. But
a giant bonus dungeon too.
Yeah. In the not in the Super Famicom version, but in all the later ones, yes. With Hades at the end of it. But it's a very, very cool 16-bit RPG. That
am I the only one who didn't vote for it, or
no? I didn't.
I voted for it.
Rob and I both did. Yes.
I loved it. I remember I played it one winter and I was just totally in love with it. But I think it's one of those games where it's like Tetris. I can't give it the baton because it was the first one to do it. It's a bit old and cookie cutter for me, so I didn't vote for it. I love it. It's just a bit old.
Yeah, I played it 4 times, but all of those playthroughs were me loving it the first time. Oh, there's a PS1 remake. I'm gonna bend over backwards to play that. Oh, I want to play the SNES version again.
I did that too.
I'll play the GBA version now. Oh, this one sucks. Maybe I'm done with Tales of Fantasia.
The Kangaroo War.
God, changing Ragnarok to Kangaroo is one of the is one of the most.
It's so good.
Amazing localization.
Did you see how that happened?
What is that for real?
Clyde Mandolin of Legends of Localization, he did the test himself. In Microsoft Word, spell check suggests that Ragnarok be changed to Kangaroo.
No!
Yes. Yeah. So that is what happened. They ran spell check, and they just accepted all the changes.
Wow. Amazing.
You can't see me right now, but my jaw is open.
I love it. Like, what? I love finding that out.
I have both eyebrows way up. That's amazing.
Man,
which probably explains Klaus to Klaus and Kless to Cress as well.
No, I don't like Cress.
I like Kless more than Cress, but they do call him Cress in the arena battle in Eternia. So I think that one's 50-50, but Clarth to Klaus or Klaus is... Come on, man. Clarth is so much cooler.
Cloth is really cool as well. There's an inconsistency with names through the series anyway. Like, Kohak's been Amber and Kohaku and Kohak. So, from Hearts
Why did they do it for that one? That one was so weird.
There's also Woodrow versus Gar and Max versus Fog.
Kohaku means amber in Japanese.
Yeah. No, but I mean Shing to Core.
Oh, because I think Shing Meteorite just sounds stupid, but Core Meteor sounds just as stupid.
It's dreadful.
Stop asking. Just stick with Tails tradition. Just call him like Steve or something.
Yeah.
Steve Meteorite. Hell yeah, I'd be all over that.
I would too.
My name is Stan Aileron, and here's my son, Kyle Aileron. And I think Chester Barklight is such an amazing name.
I love that name.
He's one of the
I
side
love
characters from
Barklight.
Fantasia. He sounds like the captain of a starship or something. Chester Barklight.
Mint
He's
Artmaid,
awesome.
I think.
Yep.
It's,
Much claim.
They're good with coming up with white people names, man.
Yeah.
Chester Barklight. Meet my commander, Edge Maverick.
Oh man.
For sure.
Luc von Fabre. Oh, no,
Oh,
okay.
God.
No, Mysterica sounds terrible, though. I hate
Oh my
that
god,
one.
Mysterica Fende, whatever it is.
I was like,
oh
What
my
is
god.
that? What is that
Yeah.
from?
It's a good
That's
thing.
too-
Abyss. Tales of the Abyss. It's Tear's
Oh.
real name.
Oh,
It's a good thing
goodness.
white people in gated communities haven't played Tales games because they would borrow so many.
Stick with it.
Vandestelka.
You should stick with the sad girl name.
It
Guy
sounds like
Cecil's
the
alright.
best lacrosse team ever, guys. Just all Tales names.
Oh, Gailardia Garden. Gladios, or whatever he's called.
Lardia.
This,
I love
this is like turned
Guy.
into like a Key and Peele bit.
I love Guy. I will defend my son.
Okay, okay. If we're maybe I should cut all that out. We'll see. But at least we'll never forget it ourselves.
This has been the best Tales podcast. I mean, we've covered every base imaginable.
Well, now we're going into the base where we hate on little children because Grace's F is the last game in our set that is not among the finalists.
I like this
dare
game, and yet
Yeah, both Rob,
yet.
both you and Steph voted for it, and
Wow.
I never made it past the first 4 hours or so because I hated all the characters.
Gameplay-wise, it is the best Tales game.
Absolutely.
it is.
I'd agree.
Yeah,
I would agree.
outstanding battle system.
Yeah.
If there was a unicorn that existed and made of video games, it would be Tales of the Abyss Story and Tales
Really?
of Grace's Combat.
Really, not the unicorn in Fantasia that gives Mint an earring.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Or the one in Symphonia that you
Or
have to break the horn off of.
Yeah.
And you murderer.
I know. Yeah. Grace's is easily the most fun to play. I would take Grace's with Vesperia's Cast and the Abyss Story, but
It actually made your accuracy stat and your evasion stat matter, and so few games actually make that thing matter.
And
so few action RPGs do, yeah.
the combat didn't use TP. They used almost. Now, correct me if I'm
It
wrong.
was
I did-
CC.
It was CC.
I didn't play a lot of Grace's F, but it was almost like a flow chart, how you could sort of build CC and then spend it on better moves, but it was all sort of a...
If you hit all of the weaknesses, you actually got your stuff replenished, so you could actually keep a combo going. So if you played it right, then you would just be on top of every fight.
Yeah, and every character has 4 Mystic Hearts that you can chain.
Whoa, that sounds dope.
Hubert's
No.
good.
Hubert is good. Instant Balls is good. Like
Is he the one with glasses?
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
He's really
Right,
bratty,
okay.
but he's very. I adore him. He's such an idiot.
Dance worth a damn. Mystic Bowls, yeah.
That's right.
Is
Sounds of the
that
day.
a real battle voice call out?
Pretty much.
It's supposed to be something waltz, but it does not sound
instant
anything
waltz.
like that.
It's like something waltz or something. Yeah. But
Nope,
it sounds like
instant
instant
balls.
balls.
All right,
It's
awesome.
balls because they're crazy. Like Pascal has some really fun ones that use the oh god, the like summons. And also her last one is a robot of Asbel that charges into all the
is.
enemies and shoots the hell out of everything.
Man, this game sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's
Maybe-
so
maybe-
fun.
maybe I should
Did
get
you not
Pat-
play it?
No, I played part of the beginning, and I just
Oh,
got really
yeah, you
annoyed.
didn't like the kid.
I didn't like the little kids, but they grow up
I
and
love
get
they
better.
give you an option to skip that for future runs. It's like
They
totally
do?
not integral.
Yeah, you
yeah.
have to beat the game first.
And
Wow,
if you want to
this-
skip it, they're cool with it.
This feels like all of these skip the fade mods for Dragon Age oranges.
I will say I hate Asbel. Like that guy is dumb.
Oh,
as a
He's
prick.
dressed.
He
His name is
awful.
Asbel, and he's dressed like Elvis, and just who cares?
I mean,
He's the worst.
I dislike the cast apart from Sophie and Hubert. Like, I really do not like any of them.
Sharia kind of sucks the life out of everything.
She's awful, and the like
Oh,
one
God,
thing I
she's
hate
a
about
killer
Grace,
on the battlefield, and she
Like-
is just the worst of what's girly in girls.
although she likes chicken. Chicken makes girls good. Like, was that there's like a quote that she says, and she's. I tell you what, these games do have the best skits, though. Oh my god, they're so
Funny
funny.
enough, right? Yeah.
Wait, is
Yeah.
it Cheria or Sophie that has a weird, hateable, unrequited crush on Asbel?
That would
It's
be her.
Sharia.
Okay,
It's
Cheria.
Sharia.
Okay, yeah,
That's-
she was my least favorite from the moment I met her.
Yeah.
That's the especially weird thing about Sharia is like it seems like they're setting her up to like, oh, we're going to kill her off, and it's going to be really tragic because like throughout the whole childhood arc, it's like, oh, I can't come out. I'm sickly, don't you know? And then she grows up, and like they never talk about it ever again.
No.
I know. I hate it. I hate it. Yeah.
She got
Malik.
better.
Malik's
Yeah,
okay.
she did get better, didn't she?
Malik's okay, but they just don't gel. They're stupid and funny, and I do love the skits, and I think they're really, like Peaches look like butts as well as another great line from this game. But
so they're way ahead of the game before emojis even existed.
I know, right? I'm so surprised this took until 2017 or 18 to take off. But Sophie said Peaches look like butts in 2000, and it came out in 2009 in Japan. So I will say.
Okay, now this might have crossed ahead of Zillia for the Tales games I need to revisit.
Yeah, I think after it's the most fun by far, but I hate the story as well because it is literally the JRPG of JRPGs of friendship.
Oh, God, yeah.
It is so corny. It's just so fun to play though. So
I actually thought the epilogue was really cute with them adopting Sophie. I thought that was a really, really cute touch.
I adore Sophie. She's the only
so
character
nice,
I take out.
All the stuff with King Richard and them. Like, oh, we need to save him. When I had no sympathy for that guy, and I didn't.
Yeah, like the dude is causing a lot of problems.
Right? Yeah.
I did ship Asbel and Richard way harder than anybody though. Like they were cute together. They actually had chemistry. Unlike Sharia, where like all of her battle descriptions are like, it's to make the boys notice, right? Yeah, no, the fact is she lost because Richard and Asbel were super cute together.
I know the opening sets it up so well as well because he just walks past him by the tree and it's just slow motion and I'm just like, God damn it!
Oh yeah, the sunglasses tip down.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I love stupid. Is it Malik? His back laser beam.
Oh my God, I love Malik's back laser. That was one mystical I forgot about. Oh, I'm disappointed.
I don't understand any of this discussion, but I am definitely more interested in Grace's F now. I do own it, and I did try playing it around when it came out, but I don't remember what I was into at the time that was preventing me from doing so.
Like one thing I really liked. There's bits of that game's localization where it's really obvious that some things were just like lost in translation or wouldn't work. Like the end of battle skits where like Sharia asks Asbel to like think of something. I can't even remember what it is. Like, I want you to tell me what this is, and then he just like takes a long time, and then when he's finally got his answer, she just interrupts him and says, "You're late." And it's like, is that a joke? What is that?
Yeah. I did like the one where they're all giving some sort of big speech at the same time. And they're totally uncoordinated. And like they're all doing like those kind of fancy, like Japanese like Power Rangers kind of fancy poses where you're, wrapping your arm around the room. And so everyone says their own battle chant at the same time. A lot of them were really funny, but you're right, some of it was lost in translation.
I do like a nice pose accompanied by a battle chant. It's true.
Yeah, it's hard to describe on here. Anybody who's played the game, I think, knows what I'm talking about.
All right, well, Grace's F and Berseria did get and Fantasia did get votes, but were not enough to make our final four. And we are, in fact, at that final four right now. So the games that got the most votes for our little podcast exercise are Tales of Destiny, Tales of Eternia, Tales of the Abyss, and Tales of Vesperia. Those are our official final four.
I love Steph's approving, like, yeah, I agree with all of this. It's all right. Yeah, I like these.
Let's go in just chronological order, the same order that I mentioned just now. The first Tales of Destiny is the second Tales game, and I think for a long time, until Zillia, it was the #1 top seller of the whole franchise. Its characters are enduringly popular. Leon was always at the top of character polls in Japan.
This little pink cape.
Yep.
Tales of Destiny is one of those rare games that's actually like laugh out loud funny. It can be. Like some of the stupid morning wake up shenanigans is just pretty great.
I think the writing is good and the characters are very good, but I just hated how sluggish it was. It has bad load times and it feels like a slower Fantasia for me.
It's a little tough, yeah.
That's why I didn't.
The encounter rate is incredibly high too.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the reasons why I did not make it to the halfway point. But otherwise, it's pretty
game.
good. Like, if anything, it was a game that was screaming for a remake. And guess what? It did get a remake, but we did not get the remake unless you live in Japan and speak Japanese. So, but Rob, you voted for this one. What are some of the big strengths of Tales of Destiny to you?
Oh, I loved this game so much. It is definitely hard to go back to. Some of the dungeons are absolute nonsense, but I love the cast. I like the sort of interplay between Stan, who's just a meathead, and Ruti, the thief.
Rudy is a
and
really good
love
leading
her.
lady.
yeah. But like, I don't know. Maybe it's just nostalgia speaking, but I just everything about it just felt like this is like a big warm hug. This is what I want from a JRPG, but at the same time, it's forward thinking and it's doing something new with its battle system and like all the little Namco references that were in there. Like you play, like you
the
fight.
airship a dragon at the beginning too? Like you're actually flying around a giant dragon? Like that's amazing.
You are, and you're like a
You have a
stowaway.
talking sword that you bicker with.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love the Swordians.
And you put
You
CDs
have
in
5
them.
talking swords that you bicker with.
Yeah.
And then I think they go deeper into the talking sword mythos a little bit in Tales of Destiny 2. Because I know you go back in time and meet like the creator of the Swordians or something. I don't know.
Harold, the
Yeah.
girl with the pink hair. Yeah.
Exactly. A girl with a pink hair named Harold. Must be a Tales of game. But but like these talking swords that you level up and give you powers, and sometimes you equip them instead of your regular weapons to level them up. All of that was really cool. It was just the basics of the action of it that dragged for me. I especially liked how your sort of Philia, your sort of awkward mage girl with glasses, had like her Swordian was a big broadsword, but also a dirty old man. That was some fun banter between them.
He was, from what I've read anyway. Yeah. Disclaimer, I have not played this because it didn't come out in Europe.
But like, you have to fight some pirates, and by doing so, you do like a little ship-based game of Galaga. And then the bonus dungeon is the Tower of Druaga, and it's as big as that game, and it's as weird, and you have to solve all these puzzles, and just all of it just feels like, it's a celebration of all things Namco, but it's also like just this giant RPG, and it just felt so good to me. Like, it's one of the few Sakuraba soundtracks that I really like, and I feel like the world was, they really did a great job at establishing a sense of place.
The overworld theme makes me happy every time I hear it. It's just very loud and fun. It's one of the few games that also has like a sort of early ending too. It's got an awkward.
Yeah, it finishes about halfway through.
So like there's a scene where like if you win a battle you're supposed to lose, the game just kind of ends, and they say like they kind of went on the land and lived happily. Yeah,
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
But
I'm not reading, but no.
Even if you win that battle, it's like, the world was saved. Okay, now you're going to go back home, and then it's like, it's the second start of the game. We're seeing Stan's hometown, and okay, now we're finding out about his relationship with his family, and then some other stuff happens, and
I love when games do that. Abyss pulls that as
ride
well.
a tricycle.
Like they take you back home. Yeah. I think Abyss does that too. It takes you home halfway through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of start up everything all over again. That hey, shit, still ain't right in the world. Act 3.
Tales games aren't always great at Act 3s, which I'm sure we'll talk about later this month. But, anyway, that was Tales of Destiny.
Very into it. I have such fond feelings for it.
I really hope they release R one day. I would love to see them.
It is the one Tales. If I could only take one Tales game that Europe or the world hadn't got, it would be Destiny R. Like remake, hands down.
I think I would vote
Destiny
for that
R
as
or
well.
Rebirth for me.
Or Rebirth.
I'm still more interested in Destiny R because that one feels like more of a legendary Tales game to me because like Destiny is sort of a Japanese longtime favorite, and it's one where I didn't like the action but liked most of the story, and one that fixes the action in a game that I never finished is something I'm very, very interested in. Moving on, the third Tales game, Tales of Eternia, which was, I think we've mentioned this earlier in the podcast, Tales of Destiny 2 in
Tales of He-Man
in North America, because Mattel holds
Mattel.
Mattel, the creator of the He-Man and She-Ra universe, has a trademark on the word Eternia. So it was called Tales of Destiny 2, which was made more confusing by a real Tales of Destiny 2, Japan only, later, blah, blah, blah. It's confusing. But anyway.
Don't seem to have that trademark in Europe.
Yes.
No, they don't.
We got the PSP version under its original title.
it. Thank you, Europe.
I bought that PSP version in Europe when I was visiting my sister when she was studying abroad.
That PSP version, it runs a heck of a lot better than the PS1 version.
Wow,
It doesn't really make many changes, but the load times are way shorter, and it's way more manageable in between
You
battles.
just gotta hope you didn't get the Volt glitch.
Oh no, I didn't. No.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I heard. I actually helped a few people who had
I heard
it.
too, and made steps to avoid it. But fortunately, it didn't burn me.
It's lovely. It's very. It feels like a Super NES game. Like seriously,
yeah.
It's really simple, but
It's a
the
very
combat
cozy game. I love the graphics. The hand-drawn locations are so pretty.
Oh, they are. That ranked it very, very highly for me. And it's like that's what I liked about it. It's like a similar kind of engine, but prettier version of something like Star Ocean 2.
Yeah.
It also was the first game in the series. Really. I mean, it only had Destiny and Fantasia before it, I guess. That it really felt like you could combo. And if you alternated
Super Lightning Demon Hammer.
Yeah. and like Reed and Farah were both really capable frontline characters that allowed you to really build combos up, and that felt great. And also the magic interplay between Keel and Merity was sort of a weird system.
That.
Yeah, I love that. So you get
really fun to play around with. Yeah.
Yeah, you get like instead of spirits, they're Kremels, and you have to equip them. But if you combine certain elements, you change some of the spells, but you can take them off and swap them between them. It was fun. It was so much fun to play around with.
Like if you had wind and you had the ice Kremels, you could make the ice tornado spell.
And it was about their synergy, so you couldn't just throw all of them on Merity. It was like if you put I don't know, Sylph on Merity, then which ones were attached to Keel were affected the wind spells that Merity got. So
you actually had to plan it out almost to actually have an optimal set of spells. That was a great idea.
Yeah, and ideally you would want an even number of Kremels on each of them, and then just play around with who got what to see what spells happened. And also, the optional Kremels that you recruit are like, holy crap, Maxwell and Secundes are real MFers of optional bosses. I beat Maxwell, but never beat Secundes because you had I did eventually beat him, but it was after I beaten the game and I followed a guide pretty closely. You have to. Secundes is obviously if you see him, Daus, the final boss of Tales of Fantasia, traveling through time or something, because he's the Kremel of time, and because Daus was weak against the indignation spell, you have to get Secundus' health down from, I think, 100,000 down to under 50,000, and then hit him with an indignation spell before he casts his Doom All Murder Everyone
the final boss of Eternia also had, you had to finish it a weird way or you got wiped.
Yeah, that endgame's hard.
Yeah, it was
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was a Nereid. You can't let the battle go on too long or she just wipes you out.
Incredibly tough game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's probably aged.
Merity is the cutest thing on the planet.
Oh, I adore her. And Quickie, I love her.
Quickie, yeah, I want to give both of them hugs.
She would randomly hug people if she felt that they had that fibrile stuff. It was Reed and that one sort of foppish guy who was secretly working for the evil empire.
Oh, Raz.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, the musketeer-looking guy.
Yeah.
That
Definitely
guy had 20 minutes of screen time, and he was great.
I know, right?
Yeah, I was surprised at how early he exited. I thought he was going to stick around a long time, but he was only a first disc enemy.
I wonder if that game was rushed, because I kind of felt like that first disc is like super fleshed out, and then there's kind of like less and less as the game goes on.
That's probably true.
No,
when you get to Celestia, it does kind of peter out a little bit.
The action in Celestia is good when you're seeking out the Celestian Kremels.
Yes.
But it does sort of rush to a conclusion, and Disc 3 is extremely empty.
Ooh, can you overlay some of Eternia's Celestia battle theme right here? That
So, and also, I didn't bring this up before. Didn't Symphonia feel like an amalgam of Fantasia and Eternia to you? Because it was set in the Fantasia universe, but then they did the Two Worlds Eternia thing.
Yeah, Eternia kicked off a load of tropes, I think. So Destiny had the traitor, but then Eternia
did the Two World thing best, actually.
I
do too. Yeah.
Because at least Celestia looked unique and it had a real sense of identity.
Celestia
I love Celestia.
Celestia felt alien in a way that was really cool.
Yeah.
Just like if the first world, which what was the first one called in Eternia?
The first I like the
Inferia.
First it's like this. Inferia. That's it.
Yeah, Inferia felt like a traditional fantasy setting, and Celestia felt like felt like alien and weird with all of its like purple mountains and like submarine
Dark clouds.
caves.
Yeah, submarines, trains. It had a bit more text. So the first village was like a bubble dome, purple and
Pirates.
purple lighting motif.
Yeah, it almost felt like changing from the first to second world in Star Ocean 2.
It does. Yeah.
That was actually
Better
really
than
cool one
Exploration
too. Ooh, yeah, that'd be a fun podcast.
Maybe
the
we'll
world.
maybe I'll put it on one of the internal votes later. We'll see. But anyway, that was Tales of Eternia, a game that all four of us appear to like very much. And now let's go to the one game that all four of us voted for, Tales of the Abyss.
Such an obvious one.
Yeah,
It's
that
so good.
we podcasted it. We podcasted about it last year because we were all
Does it
excited
feel
to
like
play
the
it.
Tales series has not ever put as much effort into the story as they did with this one?
I think they peaked around Abyss and
Well, it was around that time that Hideo Baba came on board, and it was just
yeah.
gumdrops,
He came in,
right?
Vesperia was his first game. Yeah.
I think that many
which is
Tales games
ridiculous,
after Abyss
but-
have good characters, but it did have Abyss has the best story and most fleshed out world, I think. And,
My God, hands down.
And how? Yeah.
yeah, like the politics of the story felt cool. I loved the look of a couple towns. Oh God, what's this, the castle with the blonde king that looks?
Oh, Grand Kokma.
Yeah,
Grand
yeah.
Kokma?
Yeah, I love Grand Kokma. I
waterfalls
love
everywhere.
that town. It's maybe my favorite Tales city, I think.
I even like
love-
the Watchers, the underground place.
in the
Mm.
cliff
It's got
off.
that cool,
Yeah.
because it's got that kind of cool atmospheric ambient music, and it's all dark and chaotic inside, and these people are just kind of chill on the inside.
Like, Abyss feels like the last game in the series where all of the lore is in the game. Like
Yes.
it's like from Vesperia onwards, you do have to start digging outside of the game a little bit, or read between the lines a lot more. But Abyss
it wraps up
world
every loose end.
makes sense within the Abyss
Yeah.
is hands down the most coherent, and even with all of the terminology that it throws at you.
Like all JRPGs love to what word am I looking for?
Crib.
Crib
Yeah.
from religion and mythology, but I really liked how couched Tales of Abyss was in Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism.
Yeah.
It's kind of untapped outside of
Is it, like,
a
in
few
terms of-
names here and there. But
Is it just in terms of names or actual like what?
no, like the whole
It's similar, yeah.
the clip off in the world is based on the Sephiroth tree.
Yeah, and I think they named each of the columns after branches of the tree.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also the world is laid out in the Sephiroth tree, and so like each of the columns it like links up with that diagram.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
fun.
so cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of RPGs, especially Japanese ones, that are have a sort of an oppressive or a dominant religion as a central theme or a central a central player. But it's really interesting in Abyss with there's a written prophecy that everyone follows religiously, and the enemies are trying to both disrupt the prophecy, but also maybe
They take advantage of it
fulfill
to
it.
make people.
But, yeah, exactly.
to
But also
fulfill it.
exploit it. And there's all these different players who have different feelings about it, and it's the 6 main characters are all sort of torn different ways by the political and greater world-threatening nature of the conflict. It's super good. It's a really really good RPG story, and I played through part of it on PS2 a long time ago. And
You can
never
talk
finished
about
it.
any sort of good story buzzword, and basically Abyss has it.
Yeah.
Is there betrayal? Yes. Is there like big environmental cataclysms? Yes, absolutely. Is there a big war? Definitely.
Is there a major character turn? That
Huge.
yeah. Holy crap!
Yeah, Jesus.
Like Luke goes from extremely unlikable to this twist, him turning good, like feels earned and not trite.
He does turn
Never
into
fully
like,
worked for me.
Okay.
Yeah, he does turn into the typical JRPG protagonist, basically.
He gets more boring after the turn, but like
I love the fact that he still beats on the mascot.
right.
Oh, yeah, Mew. Yeah, but Mew's Master.
Yeah, who wouldn't? I mean, I'm sorry.
I like Abyss a lot. It is definitely one of my top 4. It ranks very highly in my top 4, but like just Luke never did it to me. Never gave it to me. Never did it for me, because like the first 15 or 20 hours he's just insufferable, and then
I like that he tells people of high rank and low rank to shut up.
I like
Yeah.
that everyone acknowledges how insufferable he was, and even makes him pay for his insufferability and the horrible thing he does at the turning point of the game.
They totally silent
Yeah.
treatment him.
They very
had
much
enough.
acknowledge how terrible he was and keep reminding him of it. Which
That's actually a pretty like edgy time too. Like everybody is like angry at you, even in skits. Like they just don't want to deal with you anymore.
Right, yeah.
That doesn't really happen much in
I
these
think
games.
if he had been forgiven instantly, I would have hated it. But because he has to live with it, I was more accepting of his of the turn.
And
A
it sort
little
of makes
bit.
sense why, with everybody hating on him, why he was so flexed by the actual bad guy of the game, kind of manipulating him. 'cause
And also,
he was
I feel a
easy
little
to manipulate.
like after I've realized everything that's going on between Luke and Ash, I felt a little bit more sympathetic towards Luke. It's like, oh, this is kind of messed up. Yeah, you maybe you have been dealt a bad hand in some ways.
Yeah, I think that
Again,
works.
he was basically a nobility or royalty, so I can only be so sympathetic of him. But still, like some effed up stuff happened to Luke.
But one of the funny things that I remember seeing that kind of made me look at this game in a new light and be like, maybe I am being too harsh on it, was like somebody was saying like, oh, people just don't like Luke because he's the entitled gamer as an RPG character.
He is.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh dear.
I like Guy quite a bit. I mean,
Guy! I love Guy! my
he's
little-
good, and his Johnny
he's so
Young Bosch
nerdy.
voice acting is really nice. But
Yeah,
also like
he'll-
how they subvert that, like it's comical. He's afraid of girls, and it's like, ooh, no, I can't be near a girl. But it's like, oh, it's because he was covered with like women's corpses when he was a baby.
Yeah.
Poor
It's
Guy.
like,
He had such a
God.
dark
oh
story.
God,
Like, he's trying to kill Luke and his father for everything.
you're my
that
best friend,
happened.
and I'm gonna kill you.
Oh, but he's so understanding as well. It's
Yeah.
crazy. He's like, yeah, like the.
But we all make mistakes.
But I also,
I also like a couple times when Tyr's mad at him, she sort of sneaks up behind him and hugs him just so he can
You idiot.
just to like have him faint.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, Jade and Guy are my favorite for sure.
Oh,
Jade,
Jade is
oh,
so
man.
amazing.
What
Guy,
a-
Like,
explain.
you're weak.
Why
You're a
me?
hack. You're a whack.
just what a superb sardonic sorcerer. I love that. I love that
Yeah.
guy.
He's on fire throughout the whole thing, and the fact that he like just barely has a sort of like father-son moment with Luke at the end was just precious.
Oh my! He's like he is the reason Abyss happens, though. He created Thaumaturgy.
Yeah.
He is the reason all this stuff happens, and,
And
I'm
his
like, but
and his like
he knows
childhood
everything.
his
I hate to
childhood
play it, I hate the
homunculus
game.
experiment is what set the Fell Arms quest in order in this game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a
He
very dark
did
take on that.
everything.
Yeah. And also, I sort of love how they do the Castlevania Symphony of the Night thing of making him very supremely powerful,
Fun
and then
slot.
and then taking the powers all away.
And
He
then
hit
you
level
get to,
40
like,
again.
level-
He's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'm back."
Yeah, you get the skip.
You get a skip when he gets to
Nice.
level 40.
I
Tales
love
of
the
Tales of the Abyss is great.
the interplay between Jade and his analog and the God Generals. I can't remember his name. The flamboyant
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
This,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
who
funny.
flies around in his hair.
The guy voiced
Rose,
by
Mr.
Kazuki Yao.
Rose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're just both same. They're both just two sides of the same coin.
I love them.
But
We mentioned
it's
this with,
great.
We mentioned this with the God General stuff before, but each of the four main characters has a corresponding villain in the among the 6 lieutenants of the main villain, and I sort of love it. It's like it sets up a very natural final conflict.
Yeah. I actually like sticking with all of them together throughout the game too. You don't get any surprise villains. You don't get any surprise motivations. It's just kind of them.
There are some
And you
surprise
kinda build up
twists
them.
that are all telegraphed at least, but
Yeah.
but they don't. Nothing feels completely unearned. They give you enough breadcrumbs and enough character work that I think it's. I think it's one of the best PS2 RPGs. I really think highly of Abyss.
Me too.
It's great. Yeah,
I'm glad I finally played it on the 3DS version.
maybe even one of the best
Yay.
3DS
podcast.
RPGs.
Beg pardon.
Yep.
Maybe even one of the best 3DS RPGs because I
Absolutely
just
must
loved
play it.
playing
Oh,
through
yeah.
that again.
Yeah, me too.
The definitive way to play too, because those loading times.
Yeah.
The graphics weren't even that good. What is it loading?
Yeah, it
God.
looks surprisingly good on 3DS.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
does.
I was a little skeptical about PS2 going to 3DS, how good it would look, but yeah, Abyss and Dragon Quest VIII both look fantastic on 3DS.
And freaking Xenoblade. I mean, I don't know how that system did it. Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, that one too.
Yeah.
That was a new 3DS exclusive, so maybe it had help. So anyway, the fourth game in our final four is Tales of Vesperia, Vesperia with a V. It very, very recently had a Switch, PS4, Xbox One, PC also.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah, remake, all four of them. And,
Troy Baker when he was still in his anime days.
Right.
I know.
But before he got too big to hire.
Yeah.
So, so it has your Persona 4 Vesperia era Troy Baker and a real cast of weirdos with, again, similar to Berseria, different motivations, different connections to the world at large. That I think it's a really good Tales cast.
And a smoking dog.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Rapide, what a good boy.
Rapide.
It had a character so popular that he had to be taken out of popularity contests because he just kept on winning.
Yuri and Leon.
Yeah.
Yuri, Leon, and Luca are all exempt.
Yeah, I think that maybe the Vesperia is, I think, rock solid top to bottom until you get to the third act, which feels tacked on. But we'll definitely talk about that later this month. But
went from having a big theme of like justice to just the environment Aesop of.
I think the environment stuff was building up slightly, and having replayed it recently, it does do a bit more setup than maybe is more obvious, and maybe it might be additional cutscenes and stuff that they've added in, but it's very distinctly 3 acts. Like, we'll get to it later in the month, but like Act 1 is saving the Blastia, Act 2 is the Child of the Full Moon act and the whole destroy the villain, and Act 3 is like, surprise, bad, another villain. Woo.
Yeah, well, they do set up the third act a little bit, but it like acts 1 and 2 have these very clear arcs that I was definitely invested in, and then the third act is like, oh, remember this that happened then? Well, it might end the world.
It's gotta go out on a big JRPG bomb of saving the planet. All of the planet. Yeah, and you can't.
But until Act 3, these characters and settings, I think, are really good, and the combat is, maybe just a better version of Symphonia or Abyss, but feels really, really solid.
Yeah,
I'd say combat takes at least a few dungeons to warm up, but after you get into it and you start pulling off combos,
I think Fatal
really
Strikes
hard.
or what is it? Yeah. It's
I
not
think
easy.
You have to guard very judiciously, and I guess I'll talk about this in a few weeks. But there's one early boss fight that just completely annihilated me.
Yep.
The stupid wolf.
Is it that dog?
It's the stupid wolf in the mountain. Yeah.
Oh,
Do you remember when they put that out? Before the game came out, they put it out as like a pre-release demo where it was just like that forest ending at that wolf, and I could not beat that wolf in the demo. And then I bought the game.
Every
and I was
other
like,
boss
oh
in the game,
no,
I
oh
defeated.
no.
Every boss in the game I defeated on the first try, except for that stupid wolf. Took me 4 or 5. It was a mess.
I literally spent more time on that than like other secret bosses in that game.
Yeah, you try doing the secret mission with it as well. It's like,
oh god, is that like where you
it out
knock
with the flower?
The flowers? Yeah.
And so, like at the end of the fight, like one of my party members is left barely alive, and Carol starts up the next scene. He's like, "That was easy, guys." I know. Okay.
Yes, it's like Carol, you are permanently benched the rest of the game. You jerk.
Oh,
you and your little bag.
Carol, he's so cute though.
So do I. I've got a lot of love for
hate him.
Carol.
I've
got
does he get an extra hit in his combo later with a skill or something? Because he desperately needs a third hit on his basic combo.
Yeah, he's not fun to play as. I think he does. I can't remember.
I think he gets one later, and I just don't have it yet because otherwise he just does not gain TP fast enough.
It's a bad term for it, but he's sort of the party punching bag, where it's like they always kind of tease him a lot.
I mean, him and Raven.
He's the Mew of the game.
And even his costumes, though, like he gets a costume called Lunch Lady for Pete's sake. And he gets like a little girl outfit for when he's trying to seduce the cards. It's like they just like to tease him a lot. And he's very funny when he's teased. Like, you guys suck.
But Rita's maybe more brutal to him than anyone else.
Yeah.
She likes to beat up Raven as well quite a lot. Like, that's quite fun.
It.
He does deserve it. What a
sort of weird. Estelle is adorable. Like, I don't really care for the cute characters that much like that, and especially how girly she is, but she totally works for me. She's like book smart.
She nails
sweet.
It.
Yeah.
I love her. I adore her.
Well read. Very sincere.
I
nice.
like how Estelle, Rita, and Carol sort of come from different corners of the Vesperia world. Estelle's a noble who doesn't have a lot of experience outside the main city. Rita's from the magic guild or whatever. Carol's from a monster hunting guild or whatever. And each of them exploring the world exposes them to new parts of the world that opens up their eyes in a lot of ways. For Estelle, maybe more than anyone else. And I also, I can't believe we haven't mentioned Flynn yet. How about Yuri and Flynn's bromance?
Oh, yeah. Everything I feel is in this sword.
Mm-hmm. and how Flynn and Yuri are both disenchanted with the nobility and the knights, and Yuri decided to just leave them and act as like an agent of chaos, while Flynn is trying to change the knights from within.
It's a nice dichotomy.
It's a very good dichotomy. I like both of them a lot, and I'm excited to being able to finally have Flynn in my party more permanently in this version.
Yeah.
It does,
and it's good that they actually put them both as heroes despite their differences in ideologies.
Yeah, they're both good guys, but Flynn is still like, "Hey, Yuri, I'm gonna arrest you. I mean, I kind of have to." And Yuri's like, "Well, okay, then I'll do what we both want to do and punch this noble in the face."
And run away.
More than that.
Yeah,
way
more
a
little bit more than that, but I'm going to save it for the podcast later this month.
Yep.
Judith I always liked. She's always cool as a cucumber.
I love how flirty she is, but also how like serious she can be. Real talk. We were talking earlier about like when you can remember playing Tales games. I was 15 when Tales of Vesperia came out, and I'm pretty sure that was the moment I realized I was at least bi. So there you go.
But no, I actually do like how she's really sweet and just sort of like very easygoing.
She's sultry and flirty, but in a fun way and not a gross way. Which is the right tone to set for that.
I was initially sort of like, oh, they're doing this with her costume, and then like the scenes that she has and her character, I was like, she is actually really, really good.
Yeah.
It's a really good.
It's like she got her priorities straight. Yeah,
that cast is incredible.
And her stupid, sexy outfit is a dumb bunny outfit, a very, very weird bunny outfit.
Oh, I just played a lot of Dragon Quest XI in 2018. I know a thing or two about dumb bunny outfits.
Yup. Puff puff.
And then you have Yuri, who I think is, the, for lack of better words, shiny star of the whole game.
It's such a cliche, isn't it? And I think we'll go into it in a couple of weeks, but he is still probably one of the best JRPG protagonists ever because he's so
cool. Like, I hate using that word, but he's just cool.
It's one of the you see this very, very rarely in JRPGs, and it really surprised me when Vesperia did this, and I also found it quite satisfying that like a lot of JRPGs are like, oh, we're all about doing what's right, and Yuri is like
who does the right thing.
Yuri is like, look, the law has limits, and depending on how much influence or just the way things go, sociopaths who hurt people will get away scot-free and not be punished, and you have to not be afraid to take it into your own hands. So it was a very like non-JRPG philosophy that he had.
I think that's sort of one reason why the third act gets hammered down a lot is because they really drop that angle.
Yeah, oh, do they? I didn't get that far. Like I gave up at the Rescue Estelle castle mission where you have to run around.
That's the end of Act 2.
Like not to spoil things, but basically he gets off scot-free for what he did. Nothing happens with it.
Oh boy!
But also, I mean, Act 3 goes again. We have these clearly defined Acts 1 and 2, and then Act 3 they sort of drop it all for a generic feeling save the world storyline.
That's what like Duke and all that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I like Duke, but not like that.
Duke is a little bit like Daus from Fantasia in that he's sort of environmentally and save the mana motivated, but he also is kind of a little darker and too Sephiroth-y for me.
It's a little tough to do that multiple times. I think Daus did it the best in Fantasia.
Daus
is really good.
And also, I mean, I thought this is a step back to Fantasia a little bit. Didn't it feel sort of interesting the way he was almost trying to romance the mana goddess?
Yeah.
It's like this is an interesting arc. He's anti-war and also extremely pro-war and pro-environment at the same time. And then they recontextualize his motivations when they give you a thriving Darius Carlon in Symphonia. But whatever, that's like 8 games ago. Best gotta stay on task. So that's Tales of Vesperia, the 4th of our finalists. Now we're gonna take a brief break. I'm gonna get votes from from all 4 of we panelists, and we're gonna determine RPG fans' retro encounters official favorite Tales of game. So see you in a moment. And we're back. And, man, I hate to say this, but we have a tie.
Of course we do.
How can you get a tie with 4 people?
Yeah. I had this little system where we each rank them, and each, first place is 4 points, and then you go down the line. But we end up with a tie for 4th and a tie for 1st. Destiny and Eternia are both tied for 3rd or 4th place, and Abyss and Vesperia have a tie at 1st place. So I'm going to be very cruel. I'm going to step back and have the three of you fight over which wins. Now, let's see. I'll start with you, Alana. Tell me which between only Abyss and Vesperia. Tell me which one is your preferred one, your favorite, and why briefly. And that'll be your vote, of course.
All right. Well, I'll go for Abyss because I think story. I love Vesperia to pieces. I adore it, but I think Abyss is one of the only games in the series where characters and story match up perfectly. All of the characters are kind of grey, so none of them are like perfect good people. And Abyss's story is also the most coherent and the most understandable within the game. So that's why I say Abyss over Vesperia. Sadly.
No, I understand it hurts, but okay, Steph, now your turn. Which of those two? Well, you voted for one of them over the other, so just.
I know, but Alana's gonna be changing my mind.
I know. That's why I usually have votes be private, but.
I vote to pass.
Okay, Rob, do you have a preference between Abyss and Vesperia?
I do. Abyss, no question.
Dang it.
I feel like they went all out in making Abyss a celebration of of what came before the past decade. It was loaded to the gills with mini games and costumes and fun little side activities.
It really was.
And the characters in the story, they kept me invested from beginning to end to the point where like I was thrilled to go back and play it all the way through again on 3DS. Whereas Vesperia, I do think it absolutely belongs in the top 4, but I'm still like a little bit apprehensive about picking up the HD remaster. Just because there's just some parts of that game that were like, that was unbearable. I don't ever want to do that again. And I'm thinking of the wolf.
Carol on his own.
I'm thinking of Carol on his own. I'm thinking of the dungeon that I didn't finish.
There is that dungeon
rescuing Estelle and having to figure out what stat she was in, what alignment, and like if you make a wrong move, you have to do it all again. And you got to solve this puzzle while you're being chased by random encounters, and it's just like not. I probably will pick it up again. It is a very, very strong game, but I think Abyss kind of has the edge here.
Yeah.
All right. So that seems like a 2-0 round victory for Abyss. Tales of the Abyss is officially Retro Encounter's favorite Tales of RPG. A series with many great RPGs, some less great ones.
I retroactively agree.
All right, it's 3-0.
Okay.
Got it.
The sheep.
No,
it's fine.
No, just hearing you guys talk about it, yeah, I do think you're right.
They're so close though. Like Abyss does story better. I love the characters in Abyss, but I love the characters in Vesperia more. But I think the story in Abyss is light years ahead of the rest of the series.
It's never been rivaled ever since. Like nothing has been as close.
I like a lot of the technical improvements in Vesperia. The combat feels better. I mean, that might just be it being on a more modern system. And the
skill system's way better as well. Like the skill system's better. The altered arts are better. It's not got any stupid like the field of phonon thing in Abyss is stupid.
Yeah, you can only do it like 12 times, and each time it's not worth it. But
yeah, and you basically need Jade in your party to kind of keep it consistent. Otherwise,
yeah, exactly.
You're not gonna run into it enough.
I mean, Jade's always there anyway.
It's baffling to get your head around.
But yeah, Vesperia's technical. The battle system's way better, but I think that Abyss is perhaps the more overall engaging game.
Okay, I will say that Grace's was definitely the one shafted here today.
You mispronounced Fantasia. That's weird.
I sadly I put Grace's as one of my least favorites. So I just can't stand that cast and that story. I really hate it.
I don't like them either. I skip most of it, but I just love it for the battle system where I just invested way too much time into it to do it all.
I haven't played it since 2013, so I will go back and do it at some point.
Yeah, that's the last time I played it too. When I lost my save data.
I
do it. Yeah.
I replayed Abyss for the podcast in I guess that was 2017.
Yeah, it was.
And I think so. And
Already?
Isn't it? Well, I have to double check.
It was April 2017.
Yeah, I thought so. And I'm in the middle of replaying Vesperia right now. But after that's done, I'm probably closest to revisiting. First Berseria because I'm in the last quarter of that game and got frustrated. But I am interested in revisiting Zillia and Grace's F because I I liked parts of those games and disliked others and just fell off them for reasons I don't even remember. So I'm pretty. It wouldn't shock me if in 2019 later on I wanted to replay one of those two, but it has not happened yet, and it's still very early in 2019. But anyway, oh boy, we've been at it for a long time today. It's time to do a little bit of housekeeping. Next week we are having an episode on battle systems. Again, we had an episode on battle systems in December, but we stuck to mostly turn-based systems in that episode. We're going to stick to our Tales of Month theme and have a discussion all about action combat. Reuniting the cast of that Battle Systems episode from several weeks ago. And also, I think we mentioned this in some January episodes, but we are playing 2 episodes on Tales of Vesperia later this month. They are going to be the last 2 Thursdays in February, and I'm in the middle of playing that game right now. I am, for the most part, still enjoying it, so that is going to be a fun discussion. And let's see, what else is there to discuss? Oh, right, in March we are going to be playing the Super Nintendo Classic, Lufia 2 Rise of the Sinistrals. I like that game a lot. I don't think I'm going to be on that episode, because I have been on every single episode in December, January, and February, and that's a little unfair. But yeah, that's a really good Super Nintendo game, and I'm eager to hear what our panelists on that episode have to say about it.
Absolutely fantastic game. I don't think I can swing it. I would love to. I just don't think I can find the time. To this, it holds up. It holds up big time. I've been playing it lately, and it is very, very good.
I had an absolute blast playing that for a month or two, and finishing it. I think it's probably the only good Lufia game, but it is an excellent Super Nintendo RPG.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
There aren't that many Lufia games, but it's the good one, and it's excellent. Well, if you have any thoughts on Lufia or Tales or Suikoden 2, you can email us at retro@rpgfan.com. You can also comment on the boards, visit RPGFan on Facebook, check out Discord, check out Twitch, check out Instagram, check out probably another service I'm forgetting. You can find links to all of those on the front page of rpgfan.com. RPGFan also has 2 other fine podcasts, Random Encounter and Rhythm Encounter. We swear Rhythm Encounter isn't dead, we promise. And you can review Retro or either of those other 2 podcasts on iTunes, Google Play, or however you are listening to us. Please give us all the feedback we can stand. Now, individual social media, how can listeners reach you, starting with Alana?
You can find me at Alana Hagues on Twitter or Discord at Diving Falcons, or if you want to email me, you can send me an email at alanah@rpgfan.com.
All right, Steph, your turn.
I am your social media person, so I mean, if you're ever chatting with us on social media, I'm usually the one responding back. But also, you can find me at DiceSMS on Twitter and generally everywhere. And you can see I usually post art stuff and video game stuff, so follow me. It's always fun.
You post a lot of your art on sort of Instagram and Twitter, mostly?
Yeah, I think I'm the same name on both of those. So I mean, wherever you search for me, you'll find me. Sounds good. And Rob, your turn.
I changed my Twitter handle. You can find me on Twitter.
It briefly confused me a few days ago.
I was like, I think I know that person.
You can find me on Twitter at Nervous, NURVUSS. I've been Twitch streaming lately. And by the time you hear this episode, I will be doing my Saturday stream, Saturday morning Tensei. So if you want to see me struggle through, if you want to see me struggle through the 16-bit SMT titles, it's twitch.tv/nervous, spelled same as my Twitter, and that will be at 10 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time on Saturdays. So come bother me. It'll be great.
Breakfast viewing.
You can find me on Twitter at The Real Monsoon most of the time, at Evoker for Dogs other times. I am also Monsoon Mike on the Discord and Monsoon on the forums. If you email retro@rpgfan.com, most of the time I am the person that is responding. So this has been a few hours of Tales, and thank you so much, Steph, Alana, and Rob, for joining me. I had a lot of fun.
This is great.
So did I. Thanks for having me.
I pop off about this series all the time.
Oh yeah, and there's still more room to do that later this month.
Yes.
Yay.
Pop off even more.
Listeners, thank you. Good night and good luck.